Do you really believe that sleeping with someone is just a physical act? Do you think it's just about pleasure, desire, or companionship? If that's what you believe, you've already been deceived. What you may not realize is that every time you lay with someone, you're opening an invisible portal. You're connecting not only your body, but your soul, your energy field, your divine essence. And the most dangerous part, not every body carries light. Many carry darkness, trauma, spirits, curses, entities, and you are merging with all of that. Intimacy is a silent pact, a spiritual contract that activates in the unseen. An invisible thread is stitched between you and the other, even if you never see each other again. It's like two trees rooting into the same soil. Even when separated by distance, they still share the same earth, the same water, the same poison, if there is poison. What many call hooking up or having fun can actually be, spiritually speaking, a slow, energetic suicide. Every intimate connection is a transfer of codes. You don't just receive carnal pleasures, you absorb the hidden burdens of the other, their pain, their trauma, their insecurities, their generational curses. Have you ever noticed how, after being with certain people, your life starts falling apart? You feel more tired, more anxious, your dreams become disturbed. Things begin to go wrong without any clear reason. That's not a coincidence. That's spiritual transference. You've been stitched by an invisible thread to a destiny that was never yours. And now you're carrying a spiritual load that wasn't born in you, but infiltrated through intimacy. The Bible says, "The two shall become one flesh." But what few understand is that this fusion is real and far deeper than physical touch. It's a fusion of destinies, of paths, of stories. And if the other person is carrying a spirit of defeat, addiction, misery, or even an entity that controls their life, by joining with them, you allow all of that to enter you. You become an extension of what they carry. Do you understand now why so many chosen ones suffer deeply after a seemingly harmless connection? Because the chosen is light. And when light merges with darkness, it must fight to survive. Many times the battle you're facing right now isn't even yours. It's the spiritual war of the person you were intimate with. You didn't just open the door. You gave legal, spiritual permission for that thing to enter. And here's the problem. Energy doesn't ask for permission. It invades, it spreads, it contaminates. And the more you connect with the wrong people, the more your light fades. Some people are spiritual prisons. And when you lie down with them, you lock yourself inside. Without realizing it, this is not exaggeration. This is spiritual reality. You weren't created to connect with just anyone. You are chosen. Your energy is rare, powerful, clean, sacred. That's why many are drawn to you just to feed off you. They feel your strength and crave what you have, even if they can't explain it. But the price you pay for giving in to loneliness or temporary pleasure is too high. You lose energy. You lose direction, you lose spiritual vision, and you begin to carry a pain that was never yours. You know that sudden sadness without a reason, that feeling of emptiness, that loss of identity. It might be that part of your soul is still tied to someone you let in, and shouldn't have. There are spiritual bonds that tie chosen ones for years, bonds that drain your light, your connection with God, your spiritual gifts. And the worst part, these bonds are silent. You don't see them, but you feel the effects. Everything starts to delay, doors close, dreams die, and life falls into an endless cycle of repetition. But you must understand this now. Your soul was not made to be split with just anyone. You were created for divine connections, not for empty exchanges. Your body is a temple. Your spirit is a portal. Your energy is sacred territory. And every time you allow someone to touch that territory, you are granting access to your spiritual inheritance. Would you hand over the key to your most precious vault to a stranger? No? Then why do you do it with your soul? Chosen one, pay close attention. This video didn't reach you by accident. It was sent from above to set you free. Are you remembering people you've been with? Are you feeling a tightness in your chest, a painful memory, a weight in your soul? Don't ignore it. It's the spirit showing you where the knots are, where the cords remain, where the doors were left open. And the good news, you can be free. Freedom begins with awareness, and now you know what you didn't know before. The next step is to cut the cords. Have you ever wondered why some encounters leave you feeling light, clean, almost as if you took a spiritual bath, while others make you feel drained, dirty, confused, lost? The truth is simple, but brutal. Not every body carries a blessing. Some carry a curse, and when you choose to touch that body, you're not just touching skin. You're touching that person's ancestry. You're connecting to everything they carry. Ancestral spirits, hidden pacts, buried pain, silent voices that echo through their spiritual field. You're inheriting baggage that isn't yours. You're committing to a story that doesn't belong to you. You're signing, with your body, a contract that has spiritual clauses. And most only realize it once they're already bound. The pleasure was momentary, but the cost is eternal, unless you cut the cords. Did you know there are people who were born into families with occult pacts? Where blood was spilled, where rituals took place, where sexuality was used as a tool for spiritual control. And you, by joining with them without discernment, opened your soul to an invisible battlefield. You allowed things to enter, not just theirs, but those that passed through them. And now, they're with you. No wonder that after intimacy with certain people, you began to have nightmares, or you woke up feeling heavy, or began attracting scarcity, anxiety, chaos, as if a field of destruction had been activated around you. This is real, and it happens because intimacy is transference. Transference of energy, transference of trauma, transference of curses, transference of spiritual entities. Now stop and reflect. How many people passed through you, or through the people that passed through you? Every person you connected with also carried traces of everyone they've ever been with. In other words, you could be spiritually connected to dozens of stories that aren't yours, to traumas you didn't live, to pain you never felt, to pacts you never consciously signed, but that are affecting you now. Do you understand now why your life feels stuck? With every connection made without spiritual discernment, you dilute your identity. You leave pieces of yourself in others and bring fragments of them into you. And in the end, you feel lost, divided, disconnected from yourself, as if something's missing, as if you're no longer whole. It's because you're not. You are spiritually fractured. But no one told you this, did they? They taught you about physical protection, but never about spiritual defense. They spoke of contraceptives, but never taught you how to shield your soul. Because those who rule this world want you trapped. They want you fragmented. They want you bound to cycles of pain. Sexuality, when not spiritually understood, becomes a weapon of destruction against the chosen ones. And the chosen ones are the main targets. Do you know why? Because you carry light, because your energy holds power, because your presence disturbs the kingdoms of darkness. And if they can't kill you, they will try to contaminate you. And the most effective way to do that is through intimacy, because what enters through pleasure is rarely questioned. The touch, the kiss, the warmth of skin, all of that disarms reason, and the soul, once disarmed, is easily invaded. Now answer me honestly. How many times did you feel you shouldn't, but did anyway? How many times did a voice inside you warn you, scream at you, beg you, and you ignored it? That voice was the spirit trying to protect you. But you confused loneliness with connection, desire with destiny, impulse with truth. And now, you're here, listening to this message, because something deep inside you is crying out for deliverance. Yes, deliverance, that's the word. Because many are trapped in invisible prisons, chains that can't be seen, but are felt in the soul, in the body, in finances, in relationships, in lost dreams, in delays that make no sense. Do you really think it's normal to experience that much setback? Do you really think it's a coincidence that you repeat the same patterns of failure after certain encounters? It's not. These are spiritual marks, marks left by those who had no permission to touch you, but did because you allowed it. And now, part of your destiny is blocked. Part of your mission is weakened. Part of your essence has been stained. But hold on, not all is lost. You're hearing this now because God still has a plan, because the universe is still giving you time, because you still have the power to rise. But for that, you must break free, you must cut, you must renounce, you must purify yourself. And it all begins with repentance and understanding. You can no longer live as if you don't know, because now you do know. And from that knowledge comes responsibility. The chosen one that you are can no longer give yourself to empty bodies. You can no longer mix your energy with just anyone. You can no longer open portals without direction. You are a house of God. You are heir to kingdoms. You are a light sent to this plane with purpose, and your light must not be extinguished by temporary pleasure. Chosen one, listen. The war you're facing right now might have been planted by a single wrong choice, but victory also begins with a single right one. And you just made that choice by being here. Pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. Not every spiritual bond is the same. Some bonds hold you back. Others drive you to madness. And the most dangerous ones are the ones you mistake for love. Those are the deadliest. They make you believe it's destiny. They convince you that pain is proof of depth, and that the attachment you feel is soul connection. But it's not. It's a spiritual binding. An invisible knot sealed the moment you gave your body, and your soul was pulled along with it. You think it was just another night, but in the spiritual realm, it was a ritual. You lay with someone who carried pacts. You united your blood, your energy, your essence, with codes that do not match yours. And when that happens, a negative soul tie is created. It's as if your soul became chained to another, even though the body has already moved on. You try to move forward, but something keeps pulling you back. You try to forget, but your dreams won't let go. You try to break free, but everything around you starts to fall apart. This type of bond is the most subtle and destructive. It's like an invisible chain wrapped in the scent of nostalgia, tasting like need, but carrying the essence of prison. You think you're in love, but you're actually intoxicated. You think you miss them, but it's their energy feeding off you. And this spiritual bond grows over time, because the more you remember, the more you feed it, the more you crave, the stronger it gets. The more you give in, the deeper you sink. And the worst part? Many times the other person feels nothing, because they're not bound to you. They were just the carrier of the trap. You were the target. They moved on. You stayed trapped. It's like a web. The spider has already gone, but you're still entangled in the threads. And every thought, every memory, every what if, it all becomes spiritual fuel for that bond to remain. Have you ever stopped to think how many relationships you couldn't fully live because of a connection that was never truly broken? How many opportunities slipped away because your soul was still occupied? You might be emotionally available, but spiritually taken. And if your soul is occupied, nothing gets in, nothing blossoms, nothing prospers. Because the universe, God, the spiritual realm, they all respect energetic order. If you still carry someone within, there is no space for the new. And this is not just about romance, but about everything. New friendships, new projects, new paths, new spiritual gifts. Because intimacy ties you to other souls. And these ties, if not purified, leak energy. It's like trying to fill a cup full of holes. You pray, fast, seek, strive, but nothing stays. Because the foundation is contaminated. And the most serious part, many times you don't even notice the hole anymore. You've gotten used to the leak. You call it, this is just how my life is. But it's not. That's the result of a wounded spiritual field. A field full of tangled cords, active pacts, borrowed emotions, burdens that aren't yours. And to break that, it takes more than willpower. It takes light. You need to bring into awareness everything that remained hidden. You need to revisit every memory, every encounter, every surrender, and understand what was transferred in those moments. Chosen one, hear this with your soul. You are a living key. You open spiritual doors when you choose to unite with someone. And when you unite with someone contaminated, you contaminate the path that was being prepared for you. How many miracles were delayed by an impure connection? How many spiritual gifts were suffocated by a body you were never meant to touch? How many revelations didn't arrive because you slept with someone who was spiritually blind? You were not created to carry that kind of baggage. You were made to be free, whole, and complete. And for that, you need to do a spiritual cleansing. Yes, a deep purification. That means cutting ties, renouncing memories, crying out for deliverance, and most importantly, remembering who you are. You are chosen. You are not ordinary. You cannot live like everyone else. Because what is upon your life demands holiness, separation, vigilance. The spiritual realm doesn't negotiate. Either you protect yourself, or you will be struck. Either you consecrate yourself, or you will be contaminated. What you do with your body shapes your spirit. What you allow in your bed molds your destiny. And when you understand that, you begin to treat your intimacy as an altar. Yes, an altar. Because the bed of a chosen one is not just a physical space. It is a sacred space where heaven connects with earth, where lives are generated, physical or spiritual. And if that altar is profaned, the fire does not descend, the favor does not come, the blessing does not arrive. But if you cleanse it, if you rebuild it, if you decide to be faithful to your essence, then everything changes. Now listen with your entire soul. You already know what's at stake. You've already felt, in your skin, the weight of decisions made in the dark. You've seen your light dim. You've seen your path blocked. You've looked in the mirror and didn't recognize yourself. But today is the beginning of your return. Today, a greater force is visiting you. And if you allow it, it will cleanse everything. It will burn the ties, break the pacts, and restore the shine of your soul. But for that, you must accept the process. And the first step of this process is the breaking. You need to break with everything that connects you to this cycle of contamination. You need to let go of the neediness, the false connection, the emotional dependency, the illusory hope that one day it will change. It won't. Spiritual energy does not negotiate with deception. What is toxic at the root does not become a blessing over time. Breaking isn't about hate, it's about survival. You cannot keep feeding what's killing you. You cannot keep offering your body as an altar to someone who only brings darkness. Chosen one, understand this. Every time you go back to what hurt you, you betray your own soul. You disbelieve what God has for you. You delay your blessing. You postpone your miracle. And worse, you attract into your life what matches that energy. In other words, as long as you don't break, you'll keep attracting more of the same, more empty people, more heavy relationships, more destructive spiritual exchanges. Because your frequency is vibrating in pain, and what vibrates in pain attracts chaos. But if you break, if you say, "Enough, I want my light back," then something shifts. Heaven hears, the universe responds, your spirit begins to rise, but it doesn't stop there. The second step is purification, and this is intense, because purification hurts. It hurts because it involves exposure. It hurts because you'll have to look at things you pretended not to see. You'll face your own choices. You'll see yourself bleeding in spiritual mirrors. But you'll also see yourself healing. Purification is like surgery of the soul. The spirit enters places you didn't even know existed. It removes pieces of people who stuck to you. It washes toxic memories, removes past voices that bind you. It frees your body from spiritual imprints of those who should have never touched you. Yes, because the body remembers everything. The soul records everything. And you must cleanse everything. There may be tears. There may be a sense of emptiness at first. But that's just space being made for the new. After purification comes rebirth. And with it, the third step, reconnection with your divine essence. This is where you find yourself again. You start remembering who you were before the contamination. You begin to feel your light again. Your intuition sharpens. Your discernment comes back with power. You become dangerous to the kingdom of darkness again, because now you no longer sell yourself for pleasure. Now you no longer give yourself out of need. Now you are a conscious temple of the divine presence. You remember what you were called to be, and when that happens, portals open, angels surround you, protection settles in, and that which was stuck gets unstuck. That project that wouldn't move, it moves. That relationship that never flowed, it flows. That heavy energy in the room, it dissolves. That mental confusion, it leaves. Because now you are clean, and a clean chosen one is unstoppable. But here comes a hard truth. You will be tempted again. Yes, because the brighter you shine, the more darkness notices you. They will try to lure you with beautiful bodies, sweet words, false connections. And you must stay alert, because now you know what's at stake. Every intimacy you allow is a portal you open. Do you want to open a portal for blessing or for destruction? Do you want to attract divine alliances or dark spiritual contracts? The choice is yours. But now, you can't claim ignorance. Truth has found you, revelation has arrived, healing has begun, and you are not alone. The Spirit of God is with you in this process, guiding every step, protecting you, restoring you. You no longer need to carry shame. You no longer need to live fragmented. You no longer need to get lost in the wrong bodies. Today, you reconnect. Today, you return to your essence. Today, heaven smiles on you because you've come home. Chosen one, you've made it this far, and that was no accident. It was a calling, a rescue. It was the universe conspiring to bring you back to your essence. It was God shouting in the unseen, "Come back, you are still mine." And now, you have a choice. You can close this video and keep living the same way, or you can recognize that this was your chance, your last chance to wake up before everything falls apart again. Because yes, the time is now. The spiritual world doesn't wait. It moves in silence, while many are still asleep. But you're not asleep anymore. You are awakening. You've seen how your soul was affected by your spiritual ties. You understood that every wrong intimacy opened invisible portals. You realized you were carrying inside you fragments of people, pacts, pain. But now, you know how to break free. And more than just knowing, you need to act. If you keep feeding on memories, you'll stay imprisoned. If you keep connecting with those who drain you, you'll remain in the dark. If you keep lying with those who don't honor your soul, you'll lose everything again. You cannot play with the sacred. Your body is an altar. Your soul is divine territory. Your energy is God's signature. And if you give yourself to just anyone, you're profaning what was consecrated. Don't do that to yourself. Not anymore. You have a destiny. You have a calling. You were chosen. Chosen to live a life of power, of revelation, of spiritual authority. But for that, you need to close the portals of your past. You must say no to the flesh, to desire, to the wounded soul still crying for validation, and say yes to the Spirit, to healing, to the elevation that has been waiting for you all along. You were set apart. You are not ordinary. You weren't born to mix with cheap energies. You are living proof that God still dwells among us. But your freedom depends on your choice. Will you stay entangled with darkness, or will you rise as light? Will you repeat the same mistakes, or will you take hold of the promise? Will you lose yourself in empty bodies? Or will you rediscover yourself at the altar of your essence? The choice is in your hands, and there is no time to waste. Comment 11 now if this message touched the deepest part of your soul. That is the signal that you received the spiritual calling. It's the code the spiritual world will recognize as your yes to the new, like this video. Not for ego, but because it helps this truth reach other chosen ones who are being destroyed by invisible ties. Share it with someone you know needs to hear this. It might be the video that saves a life. And subscribe to this channel now, because this is just the beginning. Here, you will continue receiving words that restore, that cleanse, that transform. Here, you will never walk alone again. God brought you here. And if you made it this far, it's because you still have something too great to live for. The time of darkness is over. Now, it's light.